That is a big old fat bass jig stuffed right in his face. "17.5 inches to start the morning. So I'm back on Shack today. I'm up on Shackleton Shoals. I started with a swim bait. I started with a marabou jig, then I went to a swim bait. It's a little windy out here, windier than I expected. It's picked up, it's fresh and coming out of the northeast a little bit. I'm on spot lock. I got out here on the shoal and I started graphing and I started looking at the humps, and it's funny, even though this is a shoal, quite a few of these crowns aren't rocky. They've got soft bottom and they got weeds growing on them. Not to say that doesn't have fish. That's just not how I want to fish. So I kept looking, waiting to come across the rock pile. I just found it. So I did about 5 or 6 casts with the marabou jig around it. Then I did about 5 or 6 casts with the swim bait. Nobody home. Second cast with this, I hadn't moved it 5 feet, crack, missed it, and I scooted it real quick across the bottom, like boom, 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 like it was a crayfish trying to get away, running for its life. And this is a Kitech Model 2 tungsten football jig, and that is a pack-a-craw chunk trailer that I have cut right down, so it's a pretty small package. And I don't know how big they'll go. Maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, a walleye would take a 4 or 5 inch crayfish, I would think. Same with a smallmouth. But I also tied in, you can see my knot right there. I tied in about 1.5 foot of 17-pound fluorocarbon, where it's going to be down in the rocks a lot. I lost 2 jigs yesterday because it chafes and you get stuck down in a rock and it pops it right off. There's ZBs all over, zebra mussels. So I'm going to keep going. I'll tell you, this is that brand new 7.6 GTX mag medium light, and I use my 7.1 for this same technique, and I can tell you the difference is this has got more backbone. That was way out on the beginning of the cast of the retrieve, a long ways away. But boy, I came right up on him and stuck him, and there was no question that it was home. So really enjoying this rod. Definitely a little better size class today. Same bat channel. Yeah, that fish will go 16. They're sitting on the windward top side of this crown, so I'm casting beyond them and bringing it back to them. And this little Kitech, now it could be anything. Now yesterday, this a little bit lighter jig head. That's that Rage Craw on the hammerhead football jig. I'm positive I could be throwing, and I've thought about it, and I think maybe I will at some point here. I could be throwing a bucktail up on there, plain. I could throw a jig in a plastic and just pop it along. I don't think there's any limitation on what I could throw up there that they'll eat. I enjoy doing this. Now, that time I picked up the pace a little bit, meaning, so sometimes I really drag it. Sometimes it's a real slow, methodical, you can just feel it bumping around. Other times I reel it fast enough where it's just ticking and it's moving along pretty good. That's what that one was. And boy, all of a sudden it just comes right to a stop, and then you feel that like that. Lift that beautiful rod up and let that load curve do its job, and boom. So there's 2 keepers, 6:30. I've been out here less than an hour. see what happens. Stay tuned. Number 3, he just cracked 15. Third keeper. I just switched over to something a little bit lighter so it wasn't crashing into the bottom as hard. This is a 1/4 ounce brown pumpkin hammerhead football jig with a Kitech spider grub on it, black. He had that, he choked it right at the back corner of the boat right there. I tell you, this east wind is way bigger than they said it was going to be today. Way bigger. Spot lock's holding me though. I mean, it's cavitating and coming out of the water, but not terrible. Still very fishable, obviously. I got plenty of fish on this hump. I haven't left. I've moved once down a little closer to the crown. But I have live scope on and I'm looking at it, and I'll show you the next time. But I'm not actively fishing with it. I'm not watching a lure come right into a certain fish. So we'll see. Working so far. Get a measurement here. $17.5. See that down in there? That is numero quattro, second one on that little bug. That's a good looking bug right there, I tell you. It never surprises me when that gets bit. It just looks buggy and it looks fishy. This audio, I'm sure, is going to be terrible today. I apologize for that, but this wind's blowing considerably harder than I expected it to. So, that's 4 keepers. 7:15. They're not big. Excuse me. They ain't heavy. They're my brother. You can see, I'm just slow dragging. I can just feel that little 1/4 ounce football ticking the rocks down there. Well, I was hoping to go back to back for you guys, but stay tuned. We'll be back with the limit. Happy hump day. Remember, it's better to be the humper than the humpy. All right, well, that bite died about, I didn't have a single bite after 8 o'clock. It's now 9 exactly. I caught one other fish that I didn't put on camera. It was a short, so I caught 5 walleyes this morning, and a smallmouth, and 4 keepers. The bulk, well, let's see. So these 2 baits, this one, I'll get back to him. This Kitech right here, that's the Model 2 football head, tungsten football head. That did 2 keepers. This little B-hammer tackle hammerhead football with the Kitech Spider Grub did 2. And that little Salmo 4-inch finesse swim bait in the UV perch on the B-hammer swim bait head did 2. And the smallmouth did 1 walleye, 1 smallmouth. So all the humps I fished this morning topped out at about 15. I was sitting off the deep upwind edge. So here would be the crown. Wind's coming this way. Boat was here. Rocks were back here, and I'd cast back with my back to the wind out the back of the boat. I'm not a big fan of being on spot lock and facing into the wind. It's not something I do. I don't enjoy it. I don't feel like I have nearly the feel or the touch on the baits that I'm fishing, so I just don't do it. If I'm spot locked, which I do a lot more of now, more and more every day, I'm fishing out of the back of the boat with the wind in my back, unless it's just flat calm. But again, that's just me. And everything I say, every tip I pass on, it's what works for me. It's not the only way. It's not the only way I do things necessarily. But I pass on what I've had success doing and how I do it. You talk to 10 people, you'll get 10 different ways. That's totally fine. I love it. There's no, anybody that tells you, I see this all the time, anybody that tells you there's only one way or one bait or one spot, to catch fish, I stop listening, because it's just not true. I don't know how else to say that. It's just not true. There are a lot of ways to skin a cat or catch a walleye. And what we go through here on a daily basis is just some of the ways. And sometimes it's how not to catch them. It's geez, I did this today and I stuck with something and I, blah, 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 and it didn't work. Okay, well, the lesson learned there is I should have switched it up earlier. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here, go to work, be productive. You keep your tip up. You have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.